We're doing well today. Welcome to Cooped Up Live. Should I say, the daily-ish broadcast when I just talk about whatever I want to talk about. Life, stupid shit, whatever. So, while we are waiting on folks to join the live broadcast, coopedup.com is my website. You can check that out at any time, wherever you are on the social web. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in all of the places. Would love a follow in particular on Instagram. Again, I'm Cooped Up is my handle in all the places. And wherever you watch or listen to this, it is aired on Facebook Live, which is on my personal profile as well as my business page, Cooped Up. Follow there too for sure. YouTube Live and air rebroadcast. My gosh, my brain is not working right now. The words are coming to me, but they're not coming out. It's rebroadcast in audio format on all the major podcasting platforms. Also, be sure to click the bell, subscribe, whatever, so that you don't miss a minute of what's going on. And as a reminder, I welcome comments. Please comment away. There's a 20-second delay. None of this is actually live. It's live plus 20 seconds. So this weekend was way too active. Like it is. So I am not a person. I have JOMO, joy of missing out. I don't like having things to do every night. I don't like having a really busy social calendar. I like being at home, coming home, staying at home, resting, doing stuff around the house. Like if I'm busy, it's like super domestic stuff, yard care, laundry, maybe a little shopping, whatever like that. If I have like 2 lunch or dinner appointments a week, I'm like, whoa, that was a busy week. But this weekend was a doozy of a weekend. Hey, Mama, how you doing? So, as all of you know, we were having our big gay garage sale on Saturday, right? We did end up having it. I'll get to that in a moment. But that wasn't even the most exciting. And I put exciting in quotes because it was kind of scary also thing that happened. So Friday night, Carrie, the angel that she is, comes over to help us price all of the things that we were selling. Todd and I could not agree because Todd and I have very different pricing philosophies. I am price it to go, get it out of my house. Todd prices it based on what he sees as its current value. I'm not judging either option. I think my outcome is better. We may have less money at the end of it, but it's over, done, gone. Well, so we start wrapping up that, and Carrie is still here. The kids are here. And I get a broadcast from Todd saying, Cooper, I need to see you in the bedroom. And I'm thinking, okay, he has found more stuff that we might want to sell. I'm going to go up there, check it out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hang on, I'll be there in a minute. And then I get a text from him also saying, I need to see you in the bedroom now. And I'm like, okay, I go upstairs. So from 1 minute to the next, I go upstairs. Todd is laying on the bed, writhing in pain, on the edge of tears, saying, I have never been in so much pain in my life. I'm like, okay, well, that means we need to go to the hospital right now. So get him on his feet, get his shoes on, get him down the stairs. Everyone is freaked out about what's going on. And he's having this terrible pain, like on his lower right side of his body, like right above like his hip bone. It's terrible pain. And he is prone to gallbladder attacks, but gallbladder attacks tend to be kind of right under your right tit, and like where your rib cage kind of climbs up your abdomen and then has the soft spot underneath it. Well, soft on Todd and I, at least. So it wasn't that because it was too far low. Aaron is saying, that's hot. And he goes, never mind. Thought he was calling you to the bedroom for another reason. Yeah, I was, that entered my mind. Not that was actually going to happen, but I'm like, oh, come on, whatever. So take him to the hospital. Fortunately, we live like one stoplight and one stop sign from Methodist Hospital. We just go around the corner, gone. So we can get there in like 45 seconds, depending on if we hit the traffic light. Get in. I drop him at the front door of the ER, go park the car. By the time I make it in, they have already registered him. He is sitting in a chair, and as I am sitting down next to him, they call him into triage, and he is like writhing in pain. Like, I mean, it's really, really was scary. And we get there, they triage. His blood pressure is 200 over 99, which is insane. Even with my high blood pressure issues, I've never gotten that high. 200 over 99. They immediately take us to admit us into the ER. We go into a little hospital room. They do a whole check, all this kind of stuff, and the doctor comes in. So the nurse lady is explaining to Todd, or is asking Todd a bunch of questions, and he's explaining to her what's going on. And then the doctor walks in like 10 seconds later and says, "Okay, you have a pain here, low. Does it do this? Do you feel like the pain is going into your testicles? Do you feel like you got to pee, but you can't pee?" All this kind of stuff. And literally, these are the things that Todd had just said. And he goes, "I think you're having a kidney stone." And Todd's never had one of those before. And I was like, in my mind, I was thinking appendicitis, like a ruptured appendix, because, my medical degree comes in handy occasionally. But kidney stone was up there too. And so we have to get up and go to the phlebotomist. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. The person who takes your blood and all that kind of stuff. Do a urine sample and takes the blood. And Todd is like, literally, they're putting the needle in and he's like doubling over in pain as they're trying to take his blood and all that kind of stuff. Really, really like scary, loud. Didn't know what to do. I'm terrible at consolation. I'm not so I'm just kind of sitting there watching it go down. And I'm like, they said they're going to come back. Todd's like, "I need medicine." They said we need to do all of this first, Todd. And then they take us to an actual room. And by the way, this is at like 8:30 maybe at night on a Friday night. Fortunately, the ER was not hopping yet. And but I think that because of the blood pressure and the level of pain, that's probably why we got admitted so quickly. So he goes in and we're there, and then he's just again writhing in pain, and they can't do anything yet. And he's like, "Please ask them to help me do something." And he's on the edge of tears. And I don't think he actually cried. Like, I know I would have cried, but I don't think he actually cried. I think he was just very close to it. And it was coming in waves also. And he would just be kind of okay. And then all of a sudden he's just like writhing. And they finally get him and they do I think a CT scan or a CAT scan. I think it was a CAT scan, actually. That may be the same thing. They take him into a CAT scan. He's gone for like minutes because I get up to go to the bathroom and he's back by the time he got back. Monica's saying it hurts so bad. Yes. All the while, Carrie's still at the house with the kids. I tell her she can go home. Claire's texting me. She's like, "I think Carrie is more concerned than I am about what's going on," because Carrie was like white as a sheet, supposedly, about all of this. And then I'm texting Monica, and Monica said something to the effect of, "If childbirth hurt as much as a kidney stone, I would only have one child," something to that effect, or you'd only have one niece, or something to that effect. But they get him in. They finally see that he has a 2 millimeter. And right before this, Todd goes, "I'm going to be really embarrassed if this thing is not huge." And they come in, they're like, "It's a tiny," and he's like, we start laughing. And fortunately, the doctor was like, "Actually, it's better that it's smaller. They hurt exactly the same, whether it's huge or small. But if it's small, you can pass it. We don't have to go in through your back, cut you open, and scoop it out, or shoot lasers at it, or UV or sounds, or I don't know what it is." But so they give him morphine. The morphine takes like 10 minutes to actually work. It starts to bring his pain down, but it's bringing it down from like, on a scale of 1 to 10, he's at like a 14, and it's coming down. And finally he got to where it wasn't just like, it was uncomfortable and it hurt, but it was like more like stomach cramps and all of that kind of stuff. Monica's saying hers was 8 millimeters. Ugh, that's crazy. So all told, so they give him this morphine. Eventually it kicks in, and he's lucid still. He's not like, oh, but he is not writhing in pain. They fill him full of fluids, which help with his blood pressure and heart rate going down also. And anyway, long story short, that was our night. We did not end up leaving Methodist Hospital until after 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't stay up late. So we got there at like 8:30. We left at like 2 o'clock in the morning. The funny thing is, they gave it was about 10 o'clock, I think, maybe 9:45, when they said, "Okay, this is what you have. We're giving you this." They gave him Flomax, they gave him some pain meds, this sort of stuff. And they're like, "We just need you to stay here for 30 more minutes so that we can see that you don't have a reaction to the medicine, then we're going to discharge you." Well, like I said, that was at like 9:45, 10 o'clock. We did not end up leaving until 2, because the discharge stuff took forever. And then his heart rate was too high. And so they pumped him full of saline to try to get his blood pressure down. I think that's what it was. But it was going really fast. But yeah. And then I had to find so they had a list of 24-hour pharmacies. None of them exist in good parts of town for some reason. So at this point, we're leaving the hospital, and I'm driving, and Todd's in the car with me, and we have to go to a CVS, 24-hour CVS, so I can get him some oxycodone, some other something else, and some Flomax. And then also I was supposed to get him like this little funnel that has a filter on the bottom of it so you can pee in it and all of that, so that when the stone came out. Oh, something I did learn about the kidney stones. They said that that when it goes from the kidney through the urethra or whatever to the bladder, that is the painful part. That's the part where it hurts so bad. And his was stuck at the sphincter of his bladder. So it had gone all the way down, and it was just trying to get into the bladder, and it wasn't making it kind of over the hump. It was stuck there, but finally it did. And then once it's in your bladder, it just kind of rattles around a while, up to 7 days, y'all. And then it finally kind of goes into the P tube. I don't know what it's called. And then it goes out pretty quickly after that. And they said that part would not hurt. It would just be uncomfortable. It would be pressure. And then he would know, like, it would be like, boop, oh, it's gone. So like, okay. Yes. So it was crazy. And so we're driving at like 2:30 in the morning to the CVS down in South Oak Cliff, going to get going to pick up some oxycodone. I am terrified of driving. Just anyway, I'm terrified of driving at anytime after 2 o'clock in the morning. Really midnight, but after 2 o'clock especially, because I'm terrified of drunk drivers. I have an aunt who was killed by a drunk driver. I had a great friend in college who was killed by a drunk driver. We hear about it all the time. Like, it freaks me out to drive after 2 o'clock in the morning. And so we're going, and I'm actually taking less busy streets than I normally would to get there, because I know my way around this part. But I'm taking like the less trafficy streets, hoping that like the speed is lower and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, he takes the medicine. The next morning we have the garage sale, which I'll get to that momentarily. He only needed I don't think he's taken any of the oxycodone. I think he took the dose that they gave him at the hospital. And they only gave him 3 doses, I believe, because they were like, this is highly addictive stuff. So they only gave him 3, and they're like, don't take it unless you absolutely need to. They gave him something else that has painkiller in it too. They're like, try this first. And he took like 1, and it was fine that day. And then at the end of Saturday, he needed to take kind of another hit of that because he was starting to feel uncomfortable. But then yesterday morning, he comes in and he's like, hey, look at this. And it's the fucking kidney stone. Because we did not get the funnel with the filter. They did not have them at the CVS that we went to. So if you're ever at my house and you have something with powdered sugar on it, just know that the little sifter thing that we use for the powdered sugar is the same one that Todd peed through to catch his kidney stone. We just need to burn it and buy a new one. Anyway, I don't know why I shared that with y'all. But the Monica's saying, I don't understand why hospitals don't have. Same. And our hospital has a Walgreens in it. There's an actual Walgreens in Methodist Hospital. It makes no sense to me. And Beth, has he passed the stone yet? Yes, he did. And he shows me this thing, and I'm like, what? what is that? And because he didn't tell me what he was showing me, he's like, hey, look at this. And he's like, and it's like this little spiky looking, it was maybe the size of a grain of rice, like not a long grain of rice, just like a regular old white little rice. You could tell it was like bumpy. It was brown. His pee was so dark also. That was freaky. When I had to go and help him do the pee sample, it was like crazy dark. And so anyway, but of course, me being the smart ass I am, he shows, and he's going to kill me for saying this, especially if his mother is listening to this, but it's a funny joke. He shows it to me and I go, well, what do you know? That thing's been inside you more recently than I have. And then his quick retort was, yeah, and it hurt a lot more. But yeah. Am I blushing? I can't believe I told that story. Beth is saying, my husband put his in the fridge. Looks like a poppy seed. I was like, no, yeah. And Carrie is saying, ew, throw that sieve away. Yes. I'm going to just go buy a nice one. I'm going to take this as a reason to go buy a Sur La Table or Williams Sonoma sieve, you know. But anyway, so fortunately he passed it like before we had to go to Claire's birthday party thing that we were throwing with a couple of her school friends up in the colony. And I'll get to that momentarily, because I was worried because we had to take 2 cars because my car only fits 5 people, and Todd has the exact same car as I do. So his seat's 5 people, and we had 6 or 7 of us and 6 of us. And so I was like, and I was worried that he would have to, if he was in pain, he would, like, we'd get there because he took the meds with them. He was going to take the meds with them. Fortunately, he passed it before that. And I'm glad it passed quickly too. And I'm also super grateful. Had this been a week later, we would be on our camping trip down in Freeport on whatever that island is that Freeport is, just west of Galveston Island. Yes. Todd pissing into a sieve equals Sur La Table Williams Sonoma trip. Yes, exactly. That's how I feel. And Sterling did not like my sexual reference. Anyway, so that was the exciting part. So I was exhausted. So I was like, the sale must go on. I am not canceling this fucking garage sale. We've spent our garage is full of shit. We've been purging for weeks. We got everything priced, and I've already kind of marketed it and advertised it all over on Facebook and such. I was like, so I'm going to delay it maybe an hour or 2 so I get some sleep. And of course, I go to bed. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 before I get to bed. And I wake up bright and early at 6 o'clock, 6:15, something like that, just because that's the time I normally wake up. And I'm like, fuck, if I lay back down, I'm going to be in terrible shape. So I got up, I chugged a Dr. Pepper. Fortunately, I found one in our house. Probably the first time I've had a Dr. Pepper in, I don't know how long, like, because I mostly gave up sodas like years ago. I'll just randomly have them like on a trip, or if we're like doing something and we're like at a fast food place or something. But so Dr. Pepper helped. It jazzed me up a little bit. Pop my ADHD pill also, that helps. Even though they say it's a non-stimulant, but it does stimulate your system. But anyway, and then I have this stupid cough on top of all of this, just like my allergies. It's like I keep getting like this tickle, like right here where it connects, like your collarbone is. But anyway, so how was your Friday night? Was it as exciting as mine? No, this story. This is like a Stefan story. This story has everything. Oxycodone, peeing in a sieve. I can't think of the rest. But anyway, so the garage sale was a success. And thank you to Carrie, who is watching, for all her help with that. We netted about $1,300 for the course of the day. We started at about 9:30 and we ended at about 1:30. Like, we delayed. It was going to be 8 to 12. We just kind of shifted it a little bit. Todd was there for the whole thing. Carrie came and helped out as well. There were 2 surprising things that I said. One, the success of using Venmo, Zelle, and Cash App. So what I did is I went, and all of them have like a QR code that you can print out. And so I printed them out, put them on a poster board, and like taped them to the garage. And people would just come up and say, I bought this, and here's the confirmation. And then I'd get on my watch, I'd get a little bloop, confirmed. And I'm like, Michelle paid me $60. Okay, thanks, Michelle, that kind of thing. So I was surprised by that. Actually, I was surprised by three things. I was surprised by that. I was surprised by, and on that payment thing, there were two kinds of people at this garage sale. You either carried no cash and were paying via Zelle, Venmo, or Cash App. And that was, I think, I'd say 75% of the people. And then, or all you had was 50s. It was so crazy. Unfortunately, I'd gone and gotten a ton of change before, like on Thursday. And then I was surprised by, I thought of a third thing, and now I can't think of what the third thing is. What was it? The second thing was, I was surprised by what sold quickly and what did not. Oh, I remember what it was. I'm surprised by how few people negotiated. I can't tell you, of the hundreds of people I talked to during that. By the way, when we opened the garage door, there were people standing in our driveway waiting. They were rummaging through our garage before we got everything into the driveway. And the one thing Carrie said, if this survives this, I want this. It was literally the first thing to sell. It was this like mid-century lamp that we've had since, God, like when we first met. But, and then I was surprised by what sold super quickly and what lingered for a long time. For example, por ejemplo, the thing that lingered that I thought was going to, we had two outdoor all-weather wicker coffee tables, glass tops, but pretty all-weather wicker. They match our gorgeous set, but we decided that we didn't want to be matchy-matchy anymore, and we bought a teak coffee table for outside. And then we were selling the two coffee tables that we had that we'd put together, and we were selling them for $25 each. Y'all know how expensive outdoor furniture is. We were selling for $25 each, perfect condition, literally the last two things to sell. And one of them sold only because I posted it on, well, one of them sold because we offered it for half price. So she paid $12.50 for it. And then the other thing is, the other one was someone, I ended up posting stuff on Facebook and sold a lot of things there. And then the rugs, I was surprised the rugs didn't sell faster. They were like $5, $10 each. Maybe they were priced too low and people were suspect of them. I don't know. But that surprised me too. But anyway, it was, I thought the garage sale was going to be the busiest part of the weekend, and it turns out it was not, but it was still, Carrie said, oh my God, the Stephans are hot. This weekend had everything. Oxycodone, being in a sieve, book club, garage sales, and Oak Cliff's hottest new club, kidney stone. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and that won't cover the hospital bill. It will be interesting to see what the hospital bill is, because we actually just this year signed up for, because I'm going to knock on wood before I say this. I'm going to knock on all the wood. In the time that Todd and I have been together, I've had to take him to the emergency room maybe 6 times, and he's had hospital stays a lot. I've never been to the emergency room. No, I've been once. And all of the time we've been together, I drove myself. Todd was at work. And it was when I disconnected my arch, because I was trying to break into my own house and I fell off the fence and hit it on a rock. And I disconnected my arch. And I ended up driving myself to Baylor Hospital, hopping on one leg into the emergency room. And they had to put a boot, they had to wrap it and put a boot on it. But other than that, so last year, Todd has had his, I think it was stress or something, was in the hospital for a couple of days. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Well, whatever it was. We ended up getting this, it's not Aflac, because Aflac covers like your bills. It's this other kind of insurance that covers your deductible. So like our deductible or our portion for the last hospital stay was like $8,000. This would have covered that. But it'll be interesting to see how that works, because I think you have to have been admitted to the hospital. And we technically never left the emergency room. We were admitted to the emergency room, but I don't know if that's considered admitted to the hospital. I don't know the terminology, so we will see. But they make you, here's the funny thing about the hospital. So we get there, we get back into it. And aside from like the nurses who are taking some vitals and such, one of the first people who shows up is the lady with the rolling computer cart who is wanting your insurance, She's already wanting like payment information, making sure that she knows where you live, how to get a hold of you, next to kin, all of this kind of stuff. Shows up. Todd is literally writhing in bed, and she's talking to me. It was you could tell she was super uncomfortable because he's like in pain, and she's talking to me about money. But yeah. Anyway, and then the other thing, what was the other thing this weekend? Yesterday we go up so for Claire's birthday was last week on the 1st. So I guess that was Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day the 1st was. And so this weekend we had a couple of her school friends go with us to Andretti karting, which is Mario Andretti, the race car person. I don't know if it's his thing or if it's branded or licensed or whatever. But it's an indoor kart racing track, and it's like 3 levels. It was really, really cool. Very, very expensive. They also have laser tag and virtual reality games, and it's kind of like a little mini Dave and Buster's, but with laser tag, VR, and all of that. And so all 6 of us did the go-karting, and then the kids each got like this VIP pass so that they could do a VR thing, laser tag, and they got like a certain amount of things. All told, I think we spent like $600 on this. So it was very expensive, but it was a lot of fun. Todd and I won. Todd got first place. I got second place against the kids and a bunch of other people. I'm just a really good aggressive driver. I'm a fast driver too, so I'm comfortable with speed. I was fishtailing the whole time, just around these sharp turns going out. And people would be driving and I'd cut by them. So it was a lot of fun. And what else? But I have to say, and Carrie's saying, she's the kids ate up half the garage sale earnings. A kid's birthday party is easily $600, if not significantly more than that. So I actually do feel like we got off easily with this. But I would have honestly rather have just given Claire the $600. But it was a lot of fun. There was one thing, and this will be the rant portion of today. Tipping culture. I am getting so sick of tipping culture, and everywhere you go, they are wanting a tip for everything, and it's on the screen. And I have no problem saying no, like no, putting a line across it or hitting 0 or whatever. If it is counter service, I am not tipping you 15 to 20%. I'm just not doing it. And even for like bartenders and such, I'm tipping you like $1 a drink. Like that's what I'm doing. But so we are at the snack bar at Andretti Racing. I ordered a popcorn and a soda. It was a $9 combo thing, popcorn and a soda. And because I'm still needing some Dr. Pepper at this point. And the thing prints out and it has a space where you can leave a tip. Who leaves a tip at a snack bar? And I'm certainly not leaving a tip for popcorn and a soda that I had to go serve myself. Just driving and at Starbucks. And so people, a lot of people are like, I feel so self-conscious about it, whatever. I have no self-consciousness about it. I'm like, nope. Turn the screen. Yes, I'm not that dickish, but yeah. Monica is saying, I think the best thing we bought was that membership for Life Flight, $40 and not a bill. For real. So talking about like medical bills and such. So Monica, when my dad had his first stroke back in like October of 21, I think it was. Yeah. They took him to the hospital and all that kind of stuff. Monica calls me and she's like, they're airlifting him to Houston, and the hospital, the little emergency room in Madisonville or wherever, Centerville, wherever it was, small town, was like, hey, go online right now, buy a membership to this Air Life Flight kind of thing. And it wasn't Life Flight, it was some different named one. Buy this membership, because if you have this membership, and I think it was like $80, not very much. If you have a membership, then you get it for free. If you don't, it is thousands and thousands of dollars. So I immediately went online, bought it. I actually bought it wrong the first time. I bought it for myself the first time. It was in such a state. Then I bought it again for my dad, and not a bill. And I'm just really, really impressed about that. So Yeah, Carrie, this is the other thing I was going to talk about. How do you feel about restaurants tipping going up? Apparently 18% is the new minimum, 18 to 25%. Yes, we ended up going to a restaurant afterwards, and the little they hand you the little thing now. I very much like the table side computer thing. It was 18 to 20, 18, 20, and 25%. And also, why would it not be 18, 20, 22%? Why did it go from 18 to 20 and then 20 to 25? Like, pump the brakes, bitch. But I'm with you. If I came to pick up the food and it's counter service, to me, that is fast casual and I am not tipping. I agree. I wouldn't tip at Chipotle. I agree 100%. And just and they've raised all the prices too. And I'm fine with paying more. I'm fine with paying a living wage to people. If that's what this is, this math that we're trying to figure out. But anyway, Eric is saying I generally tip a bit over 20%. I think I just kind of look at what 10% is and double it. That's usually what I do. Also, did you know that you're not supposed to tip on tax? You're supposed to tip on the subtotal. And a lot of people tip on tax. And I've actually found that a lot of restaurants, their recommended amount, you have to make sure that it's correct. Because sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's inflated or whatever. So, and Eric's saying, well, I tip well at nice restaurants, but not. Yeah, I agree. I tip very well at nice restaurants too. So, alrighty. And the only thing I have left is just a little programming note, 2 of them. This Friday, we find out at 4 p.m. So right before I go live on Friday, we find out all of the private schools announce at 4 p.m. Friday, March the 10th, about their acceptance things. So it's either going to be a great show on Friday, or I might not be here. I don't know how that's going to work out. So we will see on Friday. But at least we now have a good backup, a solid backup if we need him to go to the International Baccalaureate program at Hillcrest High School in North Dallas. And he's on the wait list for the Woodrow one too. And then, so we find out that on Friday. And then next week, so we leave Saturday. Next week, I am down on the Gulf Coast with Monica and her family, and my family too, RVing. And so I doubt I'll be coming live next week. So I'm just putting that in there so that you can't say I didn't say anything. So anyway, alrighty. Well, with that, let me make sure I did not miss anything in the comments. I think I got everything. So alrighty. Take Monica her rug. Yes, we've got it in the garage. Need to make sure that I don't forget that. And with that, I'm going to say bye. I love y'all. It's important to know you were loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much for allowing me to externally process my day. And in the meantime, don't should yourself to death. Nothing good comes from should. And I will see you tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say, talk to you later. Bye.